Ja, mein Name ist Clemens Arzt. Ich habe zusammen mit der Ruhr-Uni in Bochum für die Durchführung dieser Veranstaltung gesorgt. Das größte Trauma eines Einladenden ist, dass nicht genug Studierende oder Zuhörer kommen. Das passiert uns nicht selten an dieser Hochschule, dass wir hochrangige Gäste haben und 3 Zuhörer. Dieses Mal ist es zum Glück andersrum ausgegangen. Also wir haben jetzt etwa, wir kennen die Raumgröße und die Stuhlanzahl, etwa 150 Menschen mit drin. Damit ist der Raum dann auch an seiner Grenze, aber wir freuen uns und ich freue mich, dass so viele Menschen gekommen sind, Herrn Fernando Bermudez zu hören. Fernando Bermudez, der nachher gleich seine Geschichte ausführlicher natürlich erzählen wird, wurde wegen eines Mordes in New York 1991 angeklagt und verurteilt. Wenn Sie die Gerichtsentscheidung lesen, die jetzt als letztes zu seinem Freispruch führt im Jahr 2009, also nach 18 Jahren in einem US-Gefängnis, werden Sie sehen, dass hier doch in erschütternder Art und Weise Beweise produziert wurden, also minimalste Anforderungen daran, wie man kriminalistisch arbeitet, wie Zeugen einzuvernehmen sind, wie Identifizierungen laufen und ähnliches, minimalste der Basisgrundsätze verletzt wurden. Herr Bermudez wird uns über seinen Fall erzählen, er wird uns aber auch ein bisschen sozusagen aus der übergeordneten Perspektive berichten. Wir haben verabredet, dass er zunächst mal rund 45 Minuten spricht und Sie dann gerne Ihre Fragen stellen können. Und wenn Sie nicht auf Englisch fragen wollen, aus welchen Gründen auch immer, wird dann für eine Übersetzung gesorgt werden. Wir haben, glaube ich, eine ganze Reihe von Englischprozessen hier und zur Not mache ich das sonst, wenn niemand spontan anspricht oder Gut, so viel erstmal. So, Fernando, we hope is listening to a very interesting lecture.
Dankeschön, Professor Dr. Clemens Arzt. Guten Morgen. Greetings for the United States of America. My name is Fernando Bermudez, formerly prisoner 92, 83, 25. I am a man who spent over 6,700 days in New York State maximum security prisons. An unimaginable ordeal that I had to survive through the very spirit of determination, using hope, faith, love, discipline, and my love, which would become of education. In the summer of 1991, when Soviet communism was still intact, yet was about to lift its Iron Curtain, and when apartheid in South Africa proper was still a problem, I received the rudest awakening of my life. While living in New York City, Upper Manhattan, Washington Heights, I am arrested one evening at gunpoint. I look at my brother, and he yawns a perfect zero of shock. The young lady I was with says, "I thought you were a nice guy." And I scream, "I am." But I don't think she's convinced, as handcuffs are placed and I'm put into a police car and sent to a precinct. I don't even know why. At the police precinct, I am confronted by a detective who identifies himself as Detective Daniel Mazanova. He says he's the detective assigned to my case. Why am I being arrested? Well, you should know. You're here, aren't you? You're in the Greenwich Village section of Manhattan. I don't know. Could you please tell me? Well, we'll get to that, he says. What I want to know is, where were you on the night of August 3rd and 4th, 1991. I clearly remember where I was. I'm celebrating my enrollment in college, set to enter the medical profession that summer in the fall, 2 months away on this hot August evening as I'm in a police precinct. And I tell him that I'm with my friends, driving around throughout Manhattan, enjoying the night, going from different places, in a car that my father recently helped me get in order to help me go to college so that I can go to the campus. Yes, yes, tell us more. What else do you want me to tell you? Was there a nightclub incident that you went to? I should say a nightclub that you went to? And I said, I went to several nightclubs and we drove to several places. Yes, but what about a club named the Mark Ballroom? Never heard of it. Oh, never heard of it, huh? My friends come to the precinct. 3 friends who were with me that night come to the precinct immediately. After hours of interrogation in a police precinct, where I'm handcuffed while sitting down and still not told what I'm being charged with. As hours pass, my friends come forward and verify the fact that we was together and under no circumstances were we involved in any violence whatsoever. And so, I reaffirm our position. And I give so many details that it's like a Tom Clancy novel. That's how detailed I am in my explanations. Now the prosecutor comes in, and he starts interrogating me as well. Now they're tag teaming me, and I'm in a room, and he says, we've spoken to your friends, and they're saying the same thing that you're saying. I know. I know where I was. By all accounts, what's being contrasted against me is that there is an incident in the Greenwich Village section of Lower Manhattan on the night of August 3rd and 4th, which I would know about. Raymond Blount, by all accounts, is said to have punched Ephraim Lopez, age 16, an individual who was released from prison that day on a work release program, meaning that he's given the opportunity, like an honor, to go out on the weekends only and then return to a temporary prison throughout the weekdays in order to find a job, with a curfew on the weekends to spend with his family. Ephraim Lopez is punched by Raymond Blount. Embarrassed and hurt, he wants revenge. And so he tells Raymond Blount, after they fought, that there was going to be problems. And Ephraim Lopez gets his friends from his West 90s Upper Manhattan neighborhood to go exact revenge. When the nightclub closes, Ephraim Lopez and all his buddies follow Raymond Blount, all of whom are black, and Ephraim Lopez's friends, all of whom are Latino. And a melee ensues under nighttime conditions conducive to one of the largest and leading problems of why people land in prison innocently. That is to say, mistaken eyewitness identification. And that is because under nighttime conditions, under the situation in which a fight broke out and there was mass confusion with bottles being thrown and fists flying and connecting and people running and being scared. In that confusion, Raymond Blount got shot. And he was, when shot, standing with 3 friends of the deceased, of his best friends from his Queens neighborhood. And they saw who actually shot their best friend. But I don't know any of this. I just know that when I'm charged with murder, I can't believe it. I'm in the precinct in total disbelief. And I keep insisting that I'm innocent. And I repeat my story backwards, forwards. They're trying to use interrogative techniques to get me to confess to something I didn't do. And yet I insist that I didn't do this crime. And it doesn't matter. The prosecutor pounds on the table and says, I'm going to give you 15 years to life. Because you don't want to tell me the truth. And I said, I am telling you the truth. Efraim Lopez also tried to tell the police and prosecutor the truth. This is the person who was punched once again. This is because I don't know what's going on outside of me being in a police precinct where I'm left in a room for hours, not knowing what's happening. What is indeed happening is that first, there is an illegal identification procedures, which I want all of you to understand how detrimental or harmful it was to my case in terms of creating a bad identification procedure. In the event that you're able to have a similar situation and that you can be careful to prevent it on your watch. And that is that a 17-year-old young lady selects my picture from a marijuana arrest that I had some time ago. It was an old picture. It wasn't even supposed to be in file, on record, because it was just possession of small marijuana. Yet, because I had been arrested, now I have become part of the system in ways that I would never expect. And so, the 17-year-old young lady picks my picture after selecting 2 more people who she says resembles the shooter based on a fade haircut and being Latino. She takes this picture in a room, a small room in which illegally, ladies and gentlemen, the witnesses are allowed to sit together the way you are all sitting now and across from each other. And she takes this picture and she shares it with other teenage witnesses who have been beat up, were hungry, tired, and were sleepy. What this does, psychologically, is that it creates a psychological reinforcing effect in which when she says he looks similar and she shares my picture, the other witnesses are impressed by each other as teenagers and under the traumatic circumstances that they have been under which they're in the police precinct for many, many hours and want to go home. And they all say, yeah, he looks like the person. So that's illegal because it can contaminate a future identification. Under New York state law, you are not supposed to take a picture from a potential witness and allow that picture to be discussed, much less be shared in a group. That's illegal. And yet, in 1991, it happened. It happened. Now, what's interesting is that before my actual picture is selected, Efraim Lopez, the guy who had been punched, is selected by 3 friends of the deceased correctly under these circumstances in which all the witnesses are sharing the pictures. So they all discuss this picture and they all definitely agree, oh yeah, that's the guy who got punched. They get that right. But right after that picture is selected, Raymond Blount's 3 friends are taken outside the room, and that's when the other witnesses continue with the identification procedure. And that's where my troubles begin. Because despite Efraim Lopez being arrested, he tells them the truth. He's arrested because now there's so-called probable cause in America, a reason to arrest somebody based on the idea that there's evidence that this person is somebody involved or perpetrator in a crime. And so they arrest Efraim Lopez. He tells them that the individual who is responsible for the crime is named Wu Lu, and that Wu Lu stands 5'10" and weighs 165 pounds, which by now is the same description that the police have received from these mixed up, traumatized, stabbed, just having come out the hospital witnesses in some instances. At the time, I'm 6'2", 220 pounds, and I'm a serious bodybuilder. I eat 6 meals a day. I work out for 2 hours a day, 6 days a week. That's my life, really, besides the idea of now that I'm going to switch from brawn to brain in school. Let's see if I can do it. I hope. And so the police officers, namely Detective Mazanova, tells me, okay, you can only call your mother, this is hours after I'm in a police precinct, if you participate in a lineup. A lineup, as you know, is a situation in which a person is identified amongst other potential suspects. In this case, I am 1 out of 6, except that the other potential suspects are police officers as well. They're dressed in plain uniforms, but I know they're police officers because they have the beads and the badges underneath their t-shirts, which in the summer is somewhat visible if you look. Moreover, I'm told to sit down amongst these police officers. I'm told to sit down, I realize now, because I'm a big guy and the person they're looking for, or at least have